What's going on, everybody? Let's talk about a few charts. Let's start on Bitcoin, of course. So before I get started, make sure you like and follow. Throw me a subscribe on here on YouTube. I've been trying to put out a little more content for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy it. See some insight into how I look at the charts and how I dissect things that's a bit different than really most of what other traders, influencers, Twitter people do. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge, mostly based around forming some kind of common sense around the charts. So let's take a look, starting with Bitcoin. We'll go up to the 12-hour in particular first. We're going to hide this indicator real quick because it's not really showing us too much here on Bitcoin. We did get close here, but this is something that I made from just past bull runs, specifically on Bitcoin, but other markets as well. That really gives us a good level to buy if we pull back to that level. So say we just end up crashing here. We don't want to close below red. A close below red would suggest that the bull run is probably over. But as long as we only wick down to it and find support here around the blue area, that would be a good sign for continuation of upside. Personally, I don't think we're going to do that right now. We're going to flip over to the Coinbase chart real quick and start on that one instead of this one. So down here we had what became a very clear accumulation. And we moved up, and we have since essentially retested that. Right now, I don't really see this move as correlated to this one. They're too different in terms of time and size. So I think they are separate moves, or this move is still forming. In other words, this move could still do something like this to give us a more comparable correction here and here. However, we've had this range right here. We moved up, formed a range right here. And we retested this range and have since moved up pretty nicely. Yes, we retraced and we even flipped back into red. So that's a little dangerous. If we go over to the 8-hour chart, it's red there as well. We want to flip this back positive. On the bright side, it didn't go very far. We are very close to flipping back positive already. During a bull market, a red flip does not mean, hey, you need to short here. Really what it means is once you see a flip back to positive, right here, that's a good entry to long. Now we got a fake out here, right? But typically, we're only going to get really one fake out before we get a stronger continuation. So if this does flip back to blue, that's a pretty good sign that the bottom is in and we're continuing up. And we can go back. Let me specifically flip to daily here. And we've got a couple red flips here. Once it flips back, we just trend it up. We got a quick red flip there as the uptrend started. Once it flipped back, we trended up. We can go down to 4-hour for this move here. And you see we've got really one red flip, kind of another one. But for the most part, this is one red flip here. This is another red flip. And a third red flip before we trend up out of it. And we trended up in a big way there. And you kind of got the same thing here, right? You've got a red flip, and a little bit of fake out red flip, all through this basing pattern was just funky. Once we flipped that out of that red, we trended up. So this was a mess, an absolute mess, and I consider it a higher degree than the 4 hour. The daily makes it a little cleaner. You only have the one flip right here. On the 12 hour, you see we had a couple red flips as we based out. So is something like that possible? Yeah, it could be. Let's go back to the current time. Is it possible that we just do this and we get multiple red flips in here? Yeah, sure. I don't find it to be highly likely, in my opinion, because this and this don't really look to be of the same degree. I think we continue this move up right here. So it'll be some kind of A, maybe a B, maybe even do this, giving us A, B, C up. But I'm expecting that we're going to expand out of this. And then perhaps we make a larger structure like this, where we pull back and we're testing these highs, maybe even retest this range here, giving us another move up out of that. So what would confirm that? Well, we talked about the positive flip. We want to see 12-hour flip positive. We want to see 8-hour flip positive. We want to see 4-hour flip positive. 4-hour is trying to do that right now. So this candle still has 2.5 hours left. It just flipped red. Literally, as I switched to the 4-hour chart, it flipped to red here. But it was flipping blue right before I did that. 1 hour has already given us a positive flip, and it's closed and confirmed. We took out this lower high. We had to move down, bounce. We had a lower high right here, and we fell from that, made lower lows. We took out that lower high, giving us a market structure break, which suggests that it's very likely that we can get a move up here. So how does that happen? Perhaps something like this, giving us a flat right here for more upside. What I would really like to see is over on the FTX chart. I consider this to be a basing pattern. I want to move up above this base and form a continuation pattern above the top of the base. And that for me would be a heavy buy signal for further upside. So overall, I do think we can continue sideways in here. I don't think we have to break the all-time high in the next 3 days or anything. I think it's very possible that we see more basing in here, but I want to see it happen above this basing area that's giving us signs of continuation out of the range. It's possible we just get rejection, come back in here. I prefer not to see that. But for the most part, I think this low is in. I think this low is safe. And we can look around at some other coins, and we will here in just a second. We can look at other coins that suggest that we do have continuation coming to the upside. I really got caught up in here just last night. I flipped strongly bullish right in here, really, and then we got this red candle down, and I thought, hey, maybe not. Maybe we are coming back down. Maybe we will break the lows again. But a little bit of patience would have shown me that we were just forming some kind of basing pattern here for a move up. I like that we've gotten over this gray zone. This gray zone has been relevant for quite some time here. In particular, it was I think it was a 1 hour order block, maybe right in here. Might have been a 4 hour. But you can see really since back here, it's been a resistance area, and it also led to this move up here. So as long as we maintain above that, I feel pretty good. If we were to fall here, then perhaps we come back down to the accumulation area or to these lows here and provide a test there. But currently, I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe we're going to hold this level. So let's flip over to Ethereum, and we'll zoom out a bit, and let's turn on our top secret indicator again. We have a perfect test of the blue zone, and this daily candle is kind of weird looking, but it's got a great wick to the downside. So here we want to see the daily momentum flip. We're also watching 12 hour, 8 hour. I believe we've gotten the 1 hour flip now. Let's see. Yeah, just barely. It could technically still uncross because it has not confirmed on this candle. In the next 30 minutes, we need to close probably above 1500 to keep it positive. It is not uncommon at all that you get a blue flip and then you pull back. Our first move up got rejected right here. We tested that as support a couple times, and we really swept that level too. And we seem to be moving up. We just need to see some follow through. And follow through has been an issue for a while. We need to get 4 hour momentum positive. Once that happens, I feel pretty confident that 8 hour and 12 hour and daily will follow. The 8 hour chart looks pretty bullish in particular though. I do believe this is some kind of large corrective pattern, and I think once we are done basing out here, perhaps it's something like this, I believe we'll get a strong move to the upside. In validation, of course, we don't want to close under this level. 1 hour flipping back to red would not be healthy. I would say as long as this level here holds on 1 hour, I'm okay with it turning back red, but we want to see it move up from there. If we can't move up from there, then it's likely that we fall further and this pattern is not complete. Perhaps we would find support here. So there's a lot of different scenarios really on everything right now. We want to see continuation before we get too deep on anything. This move up here, I would like to get above this level to add to my Ethereum longs. And I think it's quite possible that we do something like this. Easy add-on here. Pretty easy add-on here if we were to pull back that far. So we want to get above here. We want to get above here. And we want to maintain this level here. Let's look at ETH Bitcoin real quick. I'm not going to spend much time on this. I had a blue flip somewhere. Maybe it was on another chart. Oh, I'm on the 8 hour, that's why. on the 4-hour chart here. And this is not designed for Bitcoin pairs. It's for USD pairs. So ignore that. Closing under that was not an issue. But you saw we got a blue flip right here. That's our first signal that momentum is trying to change. We definitely have some divergences forming through here. If we're able to get above this, then Ethereum should outpace Bitcoin. Until that happens, I'm not majorly focused on Ethereum. I have a small allocation, but personally I think that Litecoin will outpace Ethereum anyway. It does need to give us the same 4-hour flip. Let's look at the Monday range as well. That's an easy entry on Ethereum, and it lines up well with the level we marked. We can go back to FTX. So I marked this level here. So you could just use the Monday high. Getting above that Monday high would be bullish for a move up to at least this level. Realistically, I think we do take this level out, but then we probably correct back down. And that gives us this running flat for more upside. We'll run over to Litecoin. We've gotten over the Monday high already. Running pretty well there. We need a 4-hour flip. We need an 8-hour flip. Daily is already positive. It's actually very close to flipping negative. So we would like to see this continue up in the next couple days to prevent us from crossing into the negative here. If we turn top secret on, you can see that we visited this level perfectly. And we had a kiss of it here. We hit the red line here, but we didn't close below, right? Just a wick to it. And the blue area provided support all through here until we got a positive flip. Pullback, you buy the pullback, and you got this awesome run. So we've got a pullback here. Brought us to our blue band. Retested it here. Overall, I feel pretty bullish on Litecoin, and I really expect it to outpace most of the market in terms of the majors. If we run over to Coinbase, we can see that we've gotten above this high finally. Everything else, well, not everything else, but many of the majors have already retraced this entire piece, right? The first part of it was to get above this, form a correction, and then you move up to the all-time highs and probably break the all-time highs. So realistically, I think we have a target in the 540 range. Just a bit above all-time high. I've previously marked some levels on my Litecoin chart on FTX. So we're looking at 420 and potentially close to 600. From there, we're probably going to need to pull back. But realistically, as long as the market still looks good, we're probably just going to be looking for a continuation pattern for further upside. The chart looks pretty healthy. We just want to see it get above some levels, turn some momentum positive, and then we're headed up to the 300s first. This to me looks like a large running flat. Like this, A, B, C. Now we're just basing behind this move down for another move up. So basing patterns can get really choppy. So when I talk about getting chopped up on the 15-minute, that's what I was doing. I was getting chopped up on the 15-minute. But that's mainly because I believe we're in this basing pattern, and it is not for trending moves. And what I'm trying to catch here is a trending move out of a basing pattern. So I'm sticking to these higher time frame charts, especially over the next few days. While I take a little bit of a break, I will simply be looking for add-ons to my longs. But I am overall quite bullish. The other primary chart that I'm watching right now is Holy Perp. So we had this impulse end here, pull back, moved up above it, tested it here for a final move. And look at that, we tested it again. So I believe this is some kind of first two waves of a new move. We call it an AB base or 1-2 wave. I don't care what you call it. But we should see continuation to the upside out of it. Daily has positive momentum. 8-hour has just flipped red. 12-hour did not flip red. It's still positive. So we want to see 8-hour flip positive. We want to see 4-hour flip positive. And we want to see 1-hour flip positive. We're already breaking the downtrend here. However you want to draw it. It's kind of funky. But this is actually pretty good. We've got this wick here. We got this wick here. And we catch this wick here using those two pivots. Then we got rejected by it and then moved up above it. So really what we want to see here is price move above this level. And 1-hour momentum should be flipping positive with it as well. We're very close. That could happen in the next few hours. Once we're able to do that, we want to get above the impulse high here. And actually, it kind of comes back here, right? Let's do it on the closes. The candle closes instead of the wicks. It's unlikely that we just wick this level again. If we can get back to this level, I would expect us to be closing above it and starting to move up. Again, it's possible that we have something like this. No issue. We would be looking for add-ons here. I'm already in some positions, but I'm not recommending getting too deep until we get some more of these confirmations. Such as the momentum flips and reclaiming these levels. For this particular one, I do not want to see the lows taken out. And I would even go so far as saying this level. I don't want to fall back below that. Ignore this wick, but grab this one next before it. So if we were to fall below it, then it seems more likely that we would continue to break these lows. So Holy is made up of 3 coins. It's FTT, Serum, and Sol. The Sol chart has been pretty weak. And part of that was in reaction to some lag in transactions on the blockchain. But even still with that lag, Sol is much faster than something like Ethereum. Handles way more transactions, even with the lag. So that's not something that really concerns me. I know they were trying to fix that to figure out exactly what it was, but I don't know the status of that. So we had a move down here. That bounced. So this here is really our accumulation range. And you can see it's working pretty well. If we can reclaim this range, we would at least move to the top. Perhaps we again do something like this as we try to get out of the range. I know it's a bunch of messy squigglies. I'm getting a little lazy here at the end of the video. But essentially we have a couple of deviations to this range, and we're working on reclaiming into the range. But if we fail to do so, if we do roll back over here, then I would think that downside that I just deleted would be the next move. All right, guys, that's everything I've got. So in quick summary, I'm bullish. I am a mega bull, but I want to see more confirmations. I want to see us claim this 52K level. We got our first confirmation here. Our next really trouble area is going to be that 52K level. If we can pull back and get up into here, then we want to see this form a continuation pattern rather than reject back into the range. Watch 1 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour, 12 hour, and some charts you got to watch daily as well, such as Ethereum. But as long as we can start flipping those momentums positive, then we should be in great shape. All right, that's all I got. We'll see you in the next one.